Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to update a particular listing. So the first step is to create the backend action that does the update operation. So we navigate to the backend action page. We create a new action. Call it update listing. Click enter. Then we add an endpoint. Then we add some query variables. So the first step is to add we need to pass the ID of the listing. The ID is a number. We click save. And then we add another variable. We add the name. Click save. We add the address. We click save. Then we add the description. We click save. And then we add the image. Add image. Click save. And then we add the category. And then we click save. All right, so we create a variable called response. So this is going to be the variable that stores the response of the endpoint. So where ID is equals to the ID that we pass to the query variable. So we're trying to select a particular directory listing. And this particular directory listing is going to pass the endpoint and returned on a successful transaction. So we map it to the response variable of the endpoint. Then we add an event. So we're gonna perform the update operation. So we click on update model. Model. So update the name. Address. So the address is going to be from the endpoints. We choose another field, category, which is going to be from the category endpoints. Then we choose another field, image, which is going to be from the image endpoint. We choose another field, name. Then this is going to be from the name endpoint. Then we choose another field, description. So we get that from the query variable description. Click on OK. And click on save. All right. Then we build the code. Then we test it out. So this shouldn't take up to 2 minutes. All right. Then we click on run action. So let's just test. Let's find the ID. So let's update Millennium Pack, which is 12. So 12, test, click on run. So let's build the code again. So the code hasn't deployed yet. So it shouldn't take up to 2 minutes. Let's try again. Cool. So we got a 200 success score, which means we've been able to update the particular listing. So let's go back to the database. Let's click here. Let's click back here. So as you can see, for the particular ID of 12, everything was updated. So in the next video, we're going to show you how to use how to connect the front end elements to the backend action we just created. In the last video, I showed you how to update a particular listing, but we just did that in the backend. So basically, we just created a backend action, created an endpoint, and ran the action all in the backend. In this video, I'm going to show you how to link the backend with the front end. So here we're going to create front end elements and front end actions, and we're going to link that to the backend so that a user can update a particular listing. So the first step, we need to create a page. So we'll click on new page, click on create page. Then we update the page name, call it update listing. Then update the page log, update listing. Then we add a query variable, it's called listing ID, the number. Let's use something different. Let's add an S. Click on save. Then we click on, oh, it seems like this has, so let's just add that in, updates. Listing. Updates. Listing. Click on save. All right. So what we need to do here is we'll add a div. Let's add a div. Then we need to run an action to fetch a single directory. So we need to fetch this single directory. So that is, we need to fetch that particular listing that we want to update. And so we use the onComponent did mount. So this is when an element is first mounted on the page. So since we're adding the div as the first element, so we're going to attach the component did mount trigger to that element. So we're going to run an action, get a single directory, and we're going to pass the page variable, listings ID, and we're going to save it. So let's make this fancy. So we're going to add a class, container. Then we're going to add a heading to it. Update. Let's add the listing name. Update listing. All right. Then we add another div. After it, we make it fancy, container LG. So we're going to add, we just want to add the name of the listing so users can see the name of the listing. So let's say name of listing. Then we can make it smaller. And so we use the use data from, so it's going to change the preview value. So we're going to find the single directory, add the name here. Then we're going to add a font group. Or what we can do, we can just go to the previous page to make things faster, create listing page. Then we can copy this entire div. And then we can go back to the update listing page. And then we can paste it after. Then we have to ensure that it's mapped to the single directory name. description, image, address. Then we create a new front-end action. So let's call the front-end action update listing. Right. So we add an event, which is to run an action, to run event endpoints, update listing endpoints. So we want so these are variables. It's going to store the response. So this is going to store the response from the endpoint, and this will store the response, the status code that is sent back from the endpoint. And then we're going to map this to the single directory. So we'll map the address. Then we'll map the category. Then we'll map the description. Then we'll map the ID. We'll map the image. Then we'll map the name. Click on OK. We'll click on save. All right, so we need to add an event below it. So it's going to be a conditional statement. So we need to check whether the endpoint ran successfully. So we'll go to flow control condition. We add a condition. So we check if the update listing code. We need to create a new variable called success code HTTP update number 200. Click on save. We need to check if that's correct. If it's equals to this, so if it's equal to 200, so update listing code is equals to 200. Click save. So we add an event inside. So we need to update the success text message that we created in the app variable in the previous video. So we'll type success text, update success text. We can say successfully updated. Successfully updated. Click save. Alright, so we choose the set field, variable, success message, actions, update success text, click save. So we need to also add another event below it. So this event is going to check if the endpoint did not run successfully. So the listing code, it's not equals to 200, and then not equals to 200. Click save. All right, so add another variable, which is the error text. Update, make it unique. An error code. Let's say an error code. Click save. So make sure this is saved as well. Add another invert inside. So this, when the endpoint run fails, we want to set field. So we set the particular variable error text message. Error text update. Click save. So let's go back to the front end. So we have to ensure everything is correct. Success message, yes. Error text message, yes. Then the on-submit events, we need to change this. So instead of create listing, we use update listing. Then we build the code. Or before we build the code, we have to add the button. So let's add a button here. So let's drag a div. So we have a div here. Let's add some margin around it. Add some margin below it. Alright. And we'll add a button inside. So we'll call it update listing. So we want it to go to the when it's clicked, want it to go to the page, which is to open a page, update listing page. We add the ID of the page to it, so the update listing page, and then we build the code. So this shouldn't take up to 2 minutes. All right, so we're going to try and attempt to update the sofa lounge listing. So let's change the category to like a restaurant. Restaurant. We click save, submit. Successfully updated. So let's go back to the page. Let's refresh. Do we see this category? Okay, I think we see it in the home page. So we'll go back to the home page, refresh. Let's find sofa lounge. You can see it updated to restaurants.